Well, welcome back to the Valley Hoops Insider podcast, part of the Valley Hoops Insider website. Harry Schroeder with you today, post Arch Madness and pre March Madness. We have an opportunity to catch up with one of the Valley head coaches, Roger Powell Jr. of the Valparaiso Beacons. They've had a good post Arch Madness week, and it was a exciting weekend in St. Louis. But big news coming out of Valparaiso, Indiana, and we bring the head coach, Roger Powell Jr., in with us. Coach, first, thanks for doing this. I know it's a busy time. Thanks for spending time with us today.
Oh, absolutely, Harry. Love getting to chat with you a little bit and talk some hoops.
So before we talk about kind of the breaking news that has been kind of the hub of Valparaiso Beacon basketball the last day or two, take us back through the season just a little bit. You guys go from 6 conference wins to 11. I think it was from 15 wins to 18. I wrote this down earlier. Your first year there, 303 in the net. Second year, 203 in the net. I think right now you're in the 150s. Every year, the Beacons marching forward. Just talk about your satisfaction level with the progress your program is making.
Oh man, I'm really excited about it. I know it was, coming in, taking on the program where it was when I was handed the program, and I knew it was going to be hard. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, and it was going to take some time. But just seeing the constant progress, even losing a bunch of guys, and obviously last year having a little heartbreak, and then just not really missing the beat and continue to move forward. And it's been great. It's been a blessing. I mean, people are stepping up. Boosters are starting to really support what we're doing. So it's been really cool seeing the growth of our program.
And I wanted to ask you about the boosters stepping up, all of that stuff that you were just talking about, because we had some announcement about your players coming back, and I want to talk about that in a minute. But also over the last couple of weeks, or maybe it's been a month or so, there's been these announcements. So-and-so's going to invest or donate X for the ARC, and somebody else is going to donate something else for the program. Talk about just the mood, the energy around the whole university, the athletic program, and men's basketball.
Well, coming back to Valpo, it's a winning tradition here. If you look in our arena, there's a ton of banners up. And, obviously, every time that they would move or Valpo would move to a different conference, it would take some time to be relevant in that conference. And then you get towards the top of it, and I was there for the tail end of the Horizon League when, we won 4 championships in 5 years, and with Bryce and I. And just the energy was at an all-time high. Enrollment was at an all-time high. It was exciting to come to the basketball games. People were talking about us. All the guys we brought, from Ryan Brokoff to Alec Peters. And then for some reason, moving to the Valley, and when COVID happened, it just kind of died down. So last year there was some excitement with us doubling our win totals and having back-to-back freshman of the year and make it to the semifinal, and then losing all those guys. It was kind of like, can the men's basketball program recoup from that? And this year, I think it was just one of those things where everyone was like, wow, they got better. And, the ARC is back rocking, the student section's full, and it's starting to feel like when I left, when we were winning championships. We haven't won one yet, but we're definitely building towards that.
Most wins in 9 seasons, I believe, this past year. Nolan Smith just won the OVC championship at Tennessee State, and he said after the game, this rivals anything I accomplished as a player, meaning it was more satisfying to him as a coach to win that championship. And you're right. You're still looking for a championship there. But how similar or different is it for you? As a player, you achieved great things. You played in the Final Four here in St. Louis. How different is it as a coach versus a player?
It's different. I tell my guys all the time, I've cut down so many nets, from, playing Illinois, winning the Big Ten every year, national championship, then at Valpo, cutting down Nestor Bryce, recruiting all those guys, and, all those championship rings that we have. And then at Gonzaga, just being there and just winning it every year. They win it again. It's just, so I've had a ton of those experiences. For me, it's seeing these players have it for the first time. Like, that's what really motivates me. It's not really about me. I won a lot, and I've been a part of all of it. My family is funny. Like, our family pictures are like championship ceremonies. My family keeps growing with every other team we go to. So, that really doesn't motivate me. What motivates me is when, a JT Pettigrew or, Rakim Chaney, when they cut down nets for the first time and they get to experience winning a championship in the college level, that is what motivates me. So I can't wait for that. And I can't wait for their families to be there celebrating with us.
So there I am. The other night, I'm scrolling on social media, and this pops up on my Twitter feed.
Hmm.
JT saying, "I'm back," and I'm like, "Wow, that's gigantic." And
Hmm.
then a little bit of time passes, and this one pops up that Rakim is returning, and then a little bit of time passes, and I might have them backwards there, and Justus says he's returning. That this was been a wild week for your program. Talk about the conversations that went into those social media posts.
Well, I think right now it's just a different day and age. You got to recruit your own players, and unfortunately, like guys like JT and Rakim and even Justice. I mean, there's other schools through agents trying to get them, and there's money being talked about, and it literally happened. Like we lose the next day. I mean, it's real, and I'm just thankful that these guys really fit Valpo. They really fit me and my staff. And I've been able to really build a strong relationship with them, and they feel the love, they feel it's genuine. And I feel the same with them. So I was able to, you know, beat out other schools that are trying to throw money and trying to steal my players, man. It was crazy. It was like combat, man. I'm like, no, man, this is messed up. But at the same time, the relationship is strong enough. We were able to, with the help from a couple very generous gentlemen at our school, we were able to not give them as much as they would have gotten at some of those other schools, but they value me, they value my staff, they value Valpo more than that, and that's a testament to them and their families, that they choose to stay at Valpo and keep building here.
So you're able to get them a little bit more money, not as much as maybe at someplace else, but those conversations have to be interesting, right? Because you got to care just about them and their future and all of that. And this is what we can do. You're still selling Beacon basketball. That's a delicate conversation, isn't it?
It is, and Quentin Garrison's been awesome. He's kind of like my GM. He's helped with just all the background conversations that I try to stay out of. But it's cool because what we did was and I don't want to give too much of my strategy, but we kind of showed them the number that we can get to. We showed them that first, and and then we said, hey, this is what every school is going to be showing you. That's going to be the number one thing that they're going to talk about is money.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kind of deconstructed what's most important. And I talked about obviously their experience, their growth, the relationship, the vision, all that. And I just showed them that like schools and agents are trying to steal you from us, and all they're talking about is money. But what we're giving you is an experience that you've seen and you feel it, and it's real and it's genuine. And to be honest, there were some tears that were shed in these meetings, man. And it was just like, man, you're right. And I'm just happy that these guys are able to see that, their families are able to see that, and yeah, it's a pretty special thing.
JT said in the press conference this weekend at the end of the Valley tournament for you guys, he said, somebody asked him, how would you wrap up, how would you describe this year? And he just said, growth, personal growth, team growth. I grew as a person and all that. Man, you can't put a dollar amount on that, can you?
Oh yeah, we played that back to him. We reminded him of that, guarantee. We definitely reminded him of that. JT's a different kid. I mean, all the Rakim's different. I mean, Sadir, Justus, this is his third year. I mean, these are different guys. And not to say anything bad about the guys that left, but I think these guys really value Valpo, and they really value our staff and their families. We have really genuine relationships, and it takes time to get that. And once you do, you realize how valuable that is. And JT's a special kid, man. He's one of the best players I've coached. He's going to be one of the best players all time that I've ever coached. But he's one of the most humble players too, man. And Rakim's the same way. I mean, they all are. They're just humble. Sadir, I mean, just humble guys. And this is the most fun I've had coaching, just because of the caliber of player and character that these guys possess. Sean is just a freaking fan favorite, and just super humble and thankful for everything. It's pretty cool.
So no doubt you're conversing with some of those other guys, and we haven't heard announcements about some of those other players. But you have a unique moment in history at Valpo for this thing to really grow and develop. Your excitement level has to be super high, obviously measured, because there's work to be done and all of that. But you have to feel great about just the mood and the direction and the trajectory of Valpo basketball.
For me, it's been really cool. I kind of had my vision, when they interviewed me, and I kind of put some goals out. I've written them down, and we have like our evaluations every year with my AD, and it's pretty rewarding to say, hey, everything I said I was going to do, I've done, and some, and in some ways faster. And so it's cool to be able to look back and say, man, listen, I've been a man of my word, and I know it hasn't been easy. It's been hard. And I mean, obviously I'm a man of faith. I believe God has really helped me a ton and has given me some favor with people and with these players. But at the end of the day, like, I'm doing what I came here to do. And also ultimately it's, I want to win a championship and get our program back to the tournament.
I was telling my wife this morning that I was going to be talking with you, and I've been around college basketball for a minute or two. And one of my most extremely spectacular moments in covering college basketball is when Homer brought that Sweet 16 team here. And the press conference is going on afterwards. After they lose that game, they get to the Sweet 16, they come here and they lose. And he's doing the press conference in that very room you were at, the other night. And some member of the staff comes and says, Coach Drew, you've got to leave the press conference. And he says, why? And they said, well, your fans won't leave. They're still cheering out in the stadium. They won't leave until you come back out and talk to them. And I thought, what a special bond that coach had, that team had, that community had, that university had. And I've never forgotten it. It's 20 plus, years ago, 27 years ago or something like that. And I think about how unique basketball programs and communities can gel and blend and become unified and really be a part of the fabric of the university. Can you just speak to that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're seeing it here at Valpo. It's funny. You look at just some of the highlight videos that we made, our staff put together, and began of the year, you see like our student section is kind of a couple people there, here and there, and then each game that goes on, it just starts to fill up, and then before you know it, I mean, it's full, and obviously some of the games. The buzzer beaters and the close games. I mean, that just added excitement and enthusiasm. And now it's like everyone's excited here. I mean, the arena's filling up. And one picture that really stands out to me was, my last picture, or my last moment in the Arc as an assistant coach. We had beat St. Mary's to go to NIT Final Four, and we pray after every game with our team, and if the opposing team wants to join us, we'll pray. Well, that particular time, I prayed, and I usually would lead the prayer back then when I was with Bryce, and the whole stadium, it felt like the whole stadium was praying there with me. And when I said amen, everyone in the stadium said amen. And it was cool because it was like this moment with the community, with our players after winning a game and moving to the NIT Final Four. It was just like special. And I thought that would potentially be the last time I would coach at Valpo. And to be honest, like, I would have been okay with that because it was one of those, extraordinary moments. And when the job opened back up, and when I was, praying about leaving Gonzaga and potentially coming back to Valpo, that moment stuck with me. It was like, man, I feel like I've had unfinished business here. And this year, which is pretty cool, the students started coming on the court after these big wins and praying with our team. And some people on Twitter say it was a court storming. It wasn't a court storming. It was my guys made a big time shot. The players ran and they jumped on the players because they made a big time shot. And then afterwards, they joined us for a prayer. And I welcomed them because that is what we're building here. We're building community. And those other teams and those students that are cheering for us, they're a part of our success. And all the fans that show up, they're a part of it too. And it's a special moment for me. And you know what? This is letting me know that, hey, it's coming back. And I'm excited to see where it goes next year.
I saw on Twitter the other night Coach Drew at Grand Canyon uh, laying hands on and praying for his seniors at center court at the end of a game, at their final game, and I think as a man of faith myself, I think when men like yourself can stand up, be bold, not overly preachy, just live your life and declare the truth and love your players. It's such a powerful statement, impacting, invitational kind of lifestyle. Just talk about that for a moment.
It's just who I am. I'm a basketball coach, but I'm also a preacher. I'm a mentor. Basketball for me is a tool to build into the lives of young men and give them an example of what it means to be a man, a father, a husband, a leader, and obviously for me, my example is from the Word of God. Jesus is my example. God, my Father, is my example. So that just kind of comes from me. Just the character, the lessons, the wisdom from the Bible. And, like I don't force it on anyone. That's not what I do, but I just live my life and it just comes out. And I think people see it and I think it impacts people. And that's something that I think basketball, because you have these young men for, back in the day it was 4 years, now it could be a year or two. Like I want them to get something more than just a game from me. And I want them their lives, whether they're a Christian or not. I mean, it doesn't matter what religion they are, but I want them to see something in me that will help them be better, have purpose, have vision. So it's a blessing that I get to do this, and I get to do it with some amazing young men, with an amazing staff, and at an amazing university, and also have that influence, spill over into the community, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely. JT, it seems like the sky is the limit for that guy. I mean, he's got size. He handles it really decent, strong in the post, can hit the three. Off season, what will you be working with JT Pettigrew in terms of his improvement and growth as a player?
Oh, I'm so excited about the offseason. I mean, that's kind of my wheelhouse, that position. I played that same position. I played kind of like that 4-3 position. So a lot of things I do with him is it's feel because like I did the same
Mm.
thing. So that's why like usually if you look at some of my best players I've coached, it's you go down the list. Alec Peters is the same type of player, kind of like that 3-4 position. Chet Holmgren, even though he's 7'1", he was kind of like that versatile four
Yeah.
position. And I mean, Cooper Schrager, that versatile four position, inside out can shoot it. And now obviously JT Pettigrew. So those guys, it's I literally can do one-on-one things with them, work with them, give them different moves that I would use. And this summer is going to be a lot of that, just really shaping up his moves, getting him more consistent with his shot. And then from freshman to sophomore years, when you make the biggest jump with your body and you get more athletic, you get stronger. And
Mm.
I think that's going to be a natural progression for him because he took a beating this year. As a true freshman, and he's not like I often joke. There's a lot of freshmen now. They're in college basketball. They're like 23, and they've been playing pro. They've been playing pro overseas for like years.
Mm.
Man, JT's a young, true freshman, so his body has a lot of room for growth, and that's what I'm really excited about to see this off season.
I don't know that I'll ever forget that corner three that Justus hit at the end of that game the other day to force the overtime, or I think it forced the overtime. Anyway, it was just such magical moments that happen in basketball. Like some of those are just like burned in your memory. And I just remember him hitting that corner three. It was such a huge play. And here's a guy that was your only scholarship guy with experience coming back, and then all year long came off the bench, led from the bench. Talk a little bit about him. I mean, he's such a unique player in this day and age.
He is, and he can really score the ball. He's a guy that can literally take over a game in like these little like 2, 3, 4, 5 minute segments can literally change the game
Mm.
offensively. And the fact that he's been loyal to our program, it means a lot. Obviously, I've known him, his family, like they're from Joliet, so we've been close for a long time. So there's definitely more of a bond there with that. But he he's kind of doing the natural progression that you've seen, over the years of college athletes. Freshman year, he had some big games for us, and was kind of inconsistent up and down with his playing time, but you could see that potential there, and the potential helped us win games. This year, started the season, had a great summer, and then he kind of had some like injury problems with his, feet and ankles and kind of up and down, but then he kind of settled into that off the bench role, because at the beginning of the year we were thinking he could have been a starter for us, but it just kind of, with the injuries, he was in and out. He sprained his ankle, so Brody kind of took over that spot, and then we were like, hey, having the firepower come off the bench like that could be really good for us, and that's what he did. He settled into that role, and it worked out great. And he's all bench team and all improved team. So I'm excited to see what kind of growth he can make from this off season in the spring to next year, because like I can see that progression that, to be honest, I had my freshman year. I didn't play much. My sophomore year, I averaged about 8 points a game. My junior year, I was a starter, and I averaged, I was third leading scorer. In my senior year, I was a starter and third leading scorer, and we're really good. So, and I was all Big Ten. So it's like I kind of see that same path
Mm.
for him, and he works. He puts a lot of time into it, and he's definitely a staple of our program. So really excited that he's going to be here for year 3.
And then Chaney, man, had some explosive games. And then he was a freshman. There were moments when he looked a little freshmanish, but he had an amazing freshman season as well. What is his growth pattern, or what does he need to work on in the offseason?
So he's one of the best freshmen in our league by far. I think he should have been on the all freshman team, to be honest. He was freshman of the week twice. I think he was the only one that was not on there that had multiple freshman of the weeks. But with that being said, he was another guy that was playing through injury. We don't like to, broadcast, what guys have going on. We have to kind of share if they're going to play or not. We have to let the league know about that. But, he had some issues kind of during the middle part of that season, where he had the same thing like Justus, and he was able to play through some of it, but it kind of hurt his explosiveness and hurt his productivity. But he grew, and the way he started the season, he was the highlight of everyone's scouting report. And to be able to kind of handle that and carry that weight as a freshman, it takes a lot, especially as a freshman point guard. I think back to last year, All was a really dynamic freshman for us, but we had a senior point guard in Darius DeVario, who took a lot of the weight off of All. Rakim didn't have that luxury this year, so it was all on him. And Brody actually took a little bit of it off of him, but man, that kid hit it head on this season, and it showed a lot of toughness. It showed a lot of like confidence and leadership for him to be able to handle that. So for him to come back a second year in our program, having played the point, having looked at every defense, having made big plays to win games, I mean, I'm excited to see where he's going to go next season, and I think he has a big time upsides.
He had 18 points in the Thursday night game, the Thursday game for you guys at Arch Madness.
He gave me 18 points and 5 assists too.
Yeah,
and to be honest, if he doesn't get a concussion in that Bradley game, I mean, we couldn't play him the last like 5 minutes. I mean, I think it's a different ending to that game. And he was still like, "Coach, put him back in." I gave him a hug. I was like, he didn't remember what happened. He didn't really know where he was. So I was like,
but put me in.
I was like, "You can't play, man. I'm sorry." But yeah.
It's amazing how those things happen in the midst of a game, and they can get lost right in the details. I mean, we can get lost after the fact. In the fall, you signed some players: Hudson Scroggins, Justin Carey, I think I'm saying that right, Curry, and Rajon Roberts. Talk about those guys and what they bring to the program.
Man, they're unbelievable freshmen for us. And obviously, unfortunately, Justin, he tore his ACL, so he's gonna have surgery. So you don't know if he's gonna play next year. But he was a kid that we watched play on the EYBL circuit and had big games. And anytime, at Valpo, you get a kid that, produces big numbers on the EYBL circuit, that's a big deal. I mean, he's 6'4", can really shoot it. And I think he's going to end up being a really good player for us at Valpo when we get him back on the court healthy. The other one is, Huddy, man. Huddy is versatile. He was 6'8". I think he might end up being 6'9", but he can play the 3 and 4. He's one of those players that I just love to coach that can shoot it, can defend, can handle. His versatility and his size, I think, is going to be really good in Valley play. Um, and he's a hard worker, very humble kid. Um, doesn't really have that entitlement mindset that a lot of these kids have. So when he comes, he's just going to be about work. So I'm really excited to see where he can go. I think next year he could actually help us. So you know, really excited about him. And John, his nickname Ray John, they call him John. He's a unique get for us. He's a high level player, dynamic
Four-star
guard,
guy. Yeah.
4-star guard. I mean, one of the highest recruits that we've ever been able to get here at Valpo. And we watched him at Peach Jam, and man, I'm watching him. I'm like, man, this kid's really good. And one of my assistant coaches, Levante Doherty, who was actually my first recruit at Valpo, was like, I think we can get him, coach. I was like, really? So we started recruiting him, and man, he ended up falling in love with our staff and the vision we have for him. And he's gonna have a chance to be really good. And he's really athletic, good physical guard. He's playing point guard right now for AZ Compass Prep, and they're ranked one in that Nike YBL league. So that's a big time recruit for us, and it just gives us another young dynamic guard that can come in, I think, and have an impact as a freshman.
You just said a phrase that I've heard you say many times when you've recruited players. We had a vision for him. This is what he can be.
Mhm.
Man, that takes some insight, and it takes the insight to see it, the ability then to communicate that. And I think that resonates with your players. Like, he has a vision. And I've heard them parrot that back to me when I've talked to them. Well, coach had a vision for what I could be. How do you figure all that out and talk about the value of that?
It's really, I think it's a gift. Just to be honest, just because I've done it a lot, and the vision I've given some of these players. I mean, even dating back to Alec, it's come to fruition, and I don't know what it is, but I can see what they can become, and then I speak life into it, and then I help them kind of develop and get there, and then they do it, and it's just pretty cool. I mean, even back to the Cooper Schreger thing, which was funny, man. He when we were recruiting him, he had no Division One offers, and I sat in his living room with his family, and I said, "Hey, I think your son's going to be freshman of the year. I think he's going to be one of the best players ever played at Valpo. I think he's going to have a chance to play in the NBA." Now, obviously, he transferred after his sophomore year, so I don't know what that trajectory looks like now. But everything I said would happen, it happened. And they thought I was just joking. They were like, "Do you know my son has no Division One offers?" But I've done the same thing with All Right and then Rakim Chaney and JT. And it's just, after this happening so many times,
Hmm.
obviously there's something to it. And I think these kids and these families and these recruits, see that, and they're buying into it. And it's pretty cool to see it continue to grow.
What's fun for me is Brandon Vickery is spectacular at what he does at Valpo as the SID there. And you guys have the best beat writer in the Valley in Paul
Yeah.
Oren.
Yeah.
You're in a blessed situation with those two guys. Obviously, Paul doesn't work for you guys. Brandon does. But talk about the external support outside of the basketball program from those guys like that, and maybe even about those two fellas.
Well, I mean, they're amazing. I mean, Brandon Victory, yeah, he does an awesome job with giving just the stats and all the historical things that motivates our team and motivates me as a coach. I mean, he works tirelessly. I mean, he's doing a ton, works for a ton of different sports, and when I look at him, and he embodies grit and never complaining, just getting things done. I mean, that's definitely the type of mindset that I want my players to possess, and my staff. So very thankful to have him. And then Paul Lauren, we go all the way back. I mean, he was my professor. I got my master's here when I was assistant coach. So oftentimes I talk to him something. I'm like, Paul, who am I talking to? Am I talking to Paul the friend, Paul the professor, or Paul the beat writer? So I always have to make sure I know who I'm talking to in the moment. But he's diehard Valpo. He's a great friend of mine, and I love his stories, and I just love what he does to kind of share the story of Valpo basketball and all the athletics,
Mhm.
all the sports. And those guys are just an extension of just everyone here. I mean, my whole purpose in with grit is not just for my basketball program. It's for the university, it's for the athletic department, it's for all the people that make what Valpo University is. And we we have a family here, it's a tight-knit community, and we're gritty, and that's something that I take pride in, getting our basketball program to that championship level, because it's an extension of everybody here at our university. And you know Paul Lauren and Brandon, they do a great job of painting that positive picture of who we are, and how special this place is. And obviously basketball is the front door for that.
Appreciate your time. I've kept you way too long. Super excited about what you guys are building there. JT Pettigrew is coming back, or Ken Chaney is coming back, Justus McNair. I'm expecting to hear some other names in the next couple of days and weeks. Some high-level recruits coming in. Roger, super excited about what you're building, and appreciate your time today.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Harry.
That's Roger Powell Jr., the head basketball coach at Valparaiso, and the Beacons are going to be really good this year. They've got a ton of people coming back. Folks, thanks for watching the podcast today. Remember, you can like, subscribe, all those things I'm supposed to tell you. And remember, since you've been there, make it a better place. We'll see you again real soon.